Hello everyone, welcome you all on this channel. So today we will see the questions asked in GATE 2021 for mechanical engineering in set 1 with respect to fluid mechanics and theory of machines. So after going through the paper that is set 1, I observed few points and that has given me a thought to make this video, and at the end of this video I'll try to convey a message to you all. So try to put your attention on this video, and also this video will be helpful for those students who have given GATE 2021 and also for those who are going to appear for GATE 2022, and it will be having a very important message. Okay, so try to listen and listen till end. Okay, so let us see what are the questions asked in theory of machine. So this was the first question that has been asked, and let us try to solve this question as we are sitting in the examination hall. So let's try to read. Consider a 2 degree of freedom system. Okay, so we are having a 2 degree of freedom that we know. As shown in the figure, this is the figure where PQ is a rigid rod. This is a rigid rod of length B and mass M, and we have the spring stiffness K, and a force F is applied here at Q for this system. Then what is Lagrangian? So first thing, if we know Lagrangian, then we can proceed further, and if we don't know, then there is no point in looking at this question. We can move forward as it is, right? Now let's suppose I know Lagrangian, and I'll write down what is Lagrangian is nothing but kinetic energy minus potential energy of system. So what is the system here? This is spring number 1, this capital mass M2, and then this rod is the third, right? So now I have to write the kinetic energy of this. So for this second, it is very simple, right? Half capital M x dot chi square. And then potential energy of 1, that is half kx square. I can write very simply, right? Now comes the third system, that is rod. So rod will be having kinetic energy, rod will be having potential energy with respect to this, right? And then rod will be having some additional effect due to Coriolis. Okay, so there are multiple things that is coming here in rod 3, and we can see the options also here. A very complicated component is present here, right? And then the whole term is very big also. So I can say that while solving this question, by looking at the question at the first attempt, I can say it's very lengthy questions. There is no point in wasting even a 1 minute on this question from now on, right? So in 2 minutes approximately, we came to know this is not a good question to attempt, and we can move forward. We can move forward and attempt any other question, right? In 2 minutes, or we can say 1 minute also. We can move forward. But instead, like if you have thought, no, I have invested 1 minute, 2 minutes, why to move forward, and now I'll solve this question, come to your ego point, then it will take 5 minutes to 10 minutes further. And let's suppose even risk is involved, like you won't be able to solve or you will be able to solve. Let's suppose you are perfect and you are able to solve it in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, within 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, let's suppose you have solved it correctly, then it will give you marks for sure. But wasting, or you can say investing this long time, that is 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes, right? It will create a pressure in your mind that you have consumed so much of time on this question, and it will be always in the back of your mind. And the next questions that are very simple, you might do silly mistake because of the pressure created from this question. So for those who have already done the paper, we will see the solution for this question very soon. But for those I am explaining, for those who are going to attempt in the next year, see, in GATE, and that too, this question was question number 1. So it's very tricky. Like they put such questions in very initial stage, initial point, and check the students whether he waste or he invest this much of time or not, whether he is having willingness to leave certain questions or not, ability. So this is the ability that examiner is checking here. You don't have to stick here, you have to move forward. There are around 5 questions asked in theory of machine, and other questions are very simple. We will see. Okay, so like this, we'll move to the next question. Now let's suppose we have left this question in 2 minutes. Now we'll move to next question. This question number 9. It's very simple question. Then this question you can solve it in single line. This question you can solve it in one line. This question, right? It's very simple question has been asked. The other questions from theory of machine, and it will give you similar marks, right? So no need to stick to one question. So now let us try to solve other part this question, right? This is very not simple, like it's not that difficult as compared to question number 1. Okay, so now let us try to solve this question. So we are having the Whitworth quick return mechanism. Okay, and various link length is given, OP, OA, AR. Okay, this is OP length and this. So how to solve this question? Like from here you draw a circle, it will cut it here, and then if you draw the full circle, then it will cut this line at this point somewhere here. You join these 2 points, and this angle will be, let's suppose, theta. So this angle will be theta by 2. So how to solve? In triangle OA, let's suppose this is P dash, OA P dash, cos theta by 2 is nothing but OA upon OP dash. What is OA? Is given already 150. What is OP dash? Is nothing but a circle, right? So OP dash is nothing but OP, that to 300. So what this value will be? 150 upon 300, that is 1 upon 2. Then theta by 2 is 60, theta is 120. So what it is asking? Quick return ratio, right? So QRR equals to 360 minus theta upon theta, right? That will be 240 upon 120. So this will give me a 2.0. So see, it's very simple question. In within a minute you are able to solve this question, right? 2.0. So instead of investing so much of time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and not coming to a final position, move ahead, solve simple question. Later on, if you have extra time, you come to this question and solve it. Okay. So now let's move to question number 32. So what it is saying, consider a reciprocating engine with crank radius R. So I am having reciprocating engine, crank radius R, connecting rod length L. The secondary unbalanced force for this case is equivalent to primary unbalanced force. So it is talking about primary unbalance and secondary unbalanced force. So now I'll write down that. What is the primary unbalanced force? Is nothing but M reciprocating into omega square into R cos theta. What is secondary? Lambda MREC omega square R cos 2 theta. Okay, what is lambda? Lambda is nothing but R by L. So now it is saying what will be the crank radius and how fast this thing should rotate. Like imaginary crank should rotate so that it will give similar to primary unbalanced force. So let us try to modify this. How to modify this? Here we are having 2 theta, right? So it is moving with 2 omega. So I'll make 2 omega. So to balance it, I have multiplied by 4, so I'll divide by 4. Lambda I have taken it from here, I'll multiply it with R into cos 2 theta. So this will fetch me secondary force equals to MREC 2 omega ka whole square into lambda r upon 4 cos 2 theta. So it's similar to that, right? Now if I replace a crank that is having length lambda r upon 4 and it is moving with how much? 2 omega. So this will be 2 theta, right? So what will be the unbalanced force? Primary unbalanced force is nothing but m reciprocating. What will be this? Omega square. Omega here 2 omega. What is crank length? Lambda r upon 4 into cos 2 theta. So this is equivalent to this force, right? Secondary force. So what is the crank radius here? Lambda r by 4. So new crank radius r dash is nothing but lambda r by 4. So if I replace the lambda value, it will come r square upon 4L. So B is the correct answer. We'll move to next question now. The figure shows an arrangement of a heavy propeller shaft in a ship. The combined polar mass, that is I, is given, I equals to 100. So see how I am approaching the questions. Please try to observe that as well. I am reading line by line and I am writing the data. It's the same way you have to do in the question paper or examination hall. The propeller rotate at 12 radian per second. The waves acting on the ship induces a rolling motion. So now it will give a rolling motion, that is omega precision is 5 radian per second. The gyroscopic moment generated on the shaft due to motion. So what is H here? So as we can see, this omega direction and omega of propeller are in the same. So H will be 0. One line. You don't have to do anything. 0. Right? So now move to next question. That is question number 24. Its difficulty level is medium. Okay. Not very difficult, not very easy. But let us see how to approach. Like we will try to solve at various level wise. Okay. So now we are reading the question. A tapped valve mechanism in an IC engine. So this is the IC engine mechanism. A rocker arm ABC that is hinged at B. So it is hinged at B. The rocker is assumed rigid and it oscillates about hinge B. So it oscillates about hinge B. The mass moment of inertia of the rocker about B is, so I know about B of what? Rod. 10 to the power minus 4 kg meter square. The rocker arm dimension A is given 3.5 centimeter. B is given 2.5 centimeter. A push rod, when moved vertical by a cam, that rotates at n rpm. So this cam rotates at n rpm. The push rod is assumed massless. So this is massless and has a stiffness. So this thing has a stiffness of K1 equals to 15 Newton per mm. At the other end, C, the rocker pushes a valve against the spring. So this is the spring and its stiffness is K2 is 10 Newton per mm. So if this thing is having stiffness, so let us consider this as a spring as well, right? So now this cam is pushing a system which is attached to equivalent two springs. One is K1, one is K2, and it rotates about B. Where is A, where is B? Okay. The valve is assumed massless and rigid. So massless, rigid, massless, rigid. Resonance in the rocker system occurs when the camshaft runs at a speed. So what is the speed N so that the resonance occur? So first thing, you try to understand when the resonance can occur. And if you're not able to understand when the resonance occur, leave this question at that moment itself. Not a single second waste on this question. Okay. If you don't know what could be the resonance speed right? In this scenario, leave the question at that moment itself. No need to move further. Okay, just move to next question. No need to do anything at this point with respect to question number 24. But now let's suppose I know the resonance. So when this resonance will happen, when this, I have considered this as a complete system, when the speed of camshaft matches with the natural frequency of this system, then the resonance will occur, right? So if it clicked in your mind during the question paper solving this question, you can move to next step for solving this question. What is finding? Try to find this omega n of this system. So let us try to find omega n of this system. This system is nothing but what it was: a rod rotating about B, arm length here B here, and it was somewhat attached to some spring, imaginary spring K1, here actually spring K2. So let's suppose I have given a displacement theta about B of this rod. This spring will come like this spring will be suppressed, right? So now to calculate the natural frequency, I'll use this energy method. Okay, so what will be the energy? E, potential energy in spring 1, that is K1. What will be the displacement here? Theta into A. K2 similar theta B plus half IB into theta dot ka whole square. So if I differentiate with respect to time and make it to 0, what will happen? K1 A square theta dot plus K2 B square theta dot plus IB theta dot theta double dot. This will give me theta dot plus K1 A square plus K2 B square upon I into theta equals to 0. So what is omega now? The square root of K1 A square plus K2 B square upon I. So if I'll substitute, I'll get what are the values if I'll substitute? Let's suppose I substitute the K1, K2, IB and other parameters. So I'll get omega n as 496.23 radian per second. This will give me n as 60 omega n upon 2 pi equals to 4738.6, approximately 4739. So B is the correct option. So in this question, this is also like difficult question, not that easy, but how to identify, that is the main critical point. So when you read the question, you written down all the data, then you come to at this point, resonance in the rocker occurs when the camshaft runs at a speed. So when we see the resonance and you are not able to link, don't waste a single next minute. Move ahead. You, if you have time saved, then you solve this question. Okay. So now let's move the question to the questions that asked in fluid. And this question number 1 will solve it after some time. Okay, after solving questions in fluid. So let us read this question. A single jet Pelton wheel operates at 300 rpm. The mean diameter of the wheel is 2 meter. Operational 40 meter per second square. Flow beta. What it is as? Power. Power is nothing but rho Q into V minus U 1 plus K cos beta into U. So what is rho is already given, right? Not given, it is let us it is not given, so let us consider is 1000 kg per meter cube water. Q is given 5 meter cube per second, and V is given 40 meter per second square, and N is given 300 rpm. How to evaluate U then? It is the pi dn upon 60. So pi d is given 2 meter and 300 divided by 60. This will give me 10 pi. So if I'll substitute here, so P will 1000. What is Q? 5V 40 minus 10 pi into 1 plus, it says all losses. So K will be 1 and beta will be 15 degree. That is 180 minus 165, 15 degree. And U again 10 pi. Okay. So after calculating this, the answer will be 2.65 megawatt. Let us move to next question. So it is a pressure measurement device fitted on the surface of a submarine. So this is that. Some water located at depth h. From here it is located at depth h. Absolute pressure here. Absolute pressure. Absolute pressure. You have to mark it down. 4.2 megapascal. Absolute. This is absolute means PATM plus rho GH. So what is 4.2 into 10 to the power 6? PATM is given 101 into 10 to the power 3. Rho is given 1050. G is given 9.8 into H. Now I'll calculate what is H. And it will give in meter. All I have put in SI unit. So H will be in meter. It is 398.34 398 meter. It is asked in meter. So 398. So now let us move to our next question. A cylinder jet of water, density is given 1000 kg per meter cube, impinges at the center of a flat circular plate and spreads radially outward as shown in the figure. The plate is resting on a linear spring with a spring constant. I know this K, 1 kilonewton per meter. This diameter is given. If the spring shows a steady deflection of 1 centimeter. So if it shows a steady deflection of 1 centimeter, so it will apply a force, right? I can calculate that force, that is F K into delta X. What is K? 1000 Newton per meter. What is delta X? 1 upon 100 meter. So this will give me F, force applied by the spring, as 10 Newton in upward direction. So what it is asking, then the jet velocity of the incoming jet is. So what is the incoming jet velocity? That is V equals to what? So this V, if it is diverting, so it will be generating a force, and in equilibrium this force will be equal to F. So let us try to evaluate what is this force jet by jet, right? So on a horizontal plate, the jet force can be easily formulated by rho Q, that is m dot into V, right? And there is nothing reflecting in this direction, so minus 0. So rho Q into V. What is Q? Is nothing but A into V. So rho A V square. This will be equals to 10 Newton. So I already know the value of rho, that is 1000 kg per meter square. What is A? Pi by 4 into capital D square, that is 1 centimeter. So 0.01 chi square into V square equals to 10 Newton. So this will give me V, (11.3 meter per second). Okay. So now we are back to question number 1. That is, we have left. So like this we have to do, So now let's suppose we have completed the paper. Now I am having some more time remaining. So I can now attempt this question. So this is the crux that I wanted to tell you people. Seeing a question, you just decide it is very difficult, you thought, then move ahead, you attempt it in the last. That's how I did during this example, right? So I hope my point is clear to you all. So now let us try to attempt this question. So in this question, it was asked Lagrangian only, right? So what was Lagrangian is kinetic energy minus potential energy of the system. At that time, we have decided system 1, 2, this rod as a third system. Okay. It's a very typical question and one of the most difficult question in this paper. Okay. So let us try to concentrate on kinetic energy. So kinetic energy for this person or system 2 will be half capital M x dot square. There will be no rotational energy, only this, right? Linear kinetic energy. Now I'll talk about kinetic energy of 3. So this rod will have multiple motions, right? It will rotate also and it will having linear motion also. And as this guy might accelerate, so there might be Coriolis action. So how I'll solve this question is by this, this is rod, the vertical position theta. So how I'll do, from here at a distance r, I have taken an element of mass dm, and I want to, this is rigid, right? There will be no no deflection or stress induced, so this will remain rigid. So what is the velocity, or what is the, let us try to understand what are the various thing that is with this element dm. So as this guy is complete rigid and it is attached with this box capital M, it will be having a linear motion x dot. All of you agree with me? X dot, because of this capital M. And with respect to capital M, it will do rotational motion as well. And that, let's suppose it is theta dot, that rotational motion is. So that will give us a one more velocity that is perpendicular to this, and it will be theta dot into r. Okay. So this dm will be having this velocity and this velocity, and if we combine these two, then this will go with a v net. So what is the kinetic energy for third element? Is nothing but half dm v net chi square, and if I integrate from here till this end, that is 0 to b, then it will give me the complete kinetic energy of the rod. Okay, I hope it is clear. So how to evaluate this v net? If we'll calculate, then we'll come to know that this angle is theta. So v net is nothing but, v net square is nothing but x dot chi square plus theta dot into r square plus 2 x dot theta dot r into cos theta, right? V1 square plus V2 square plus 2 V1 V2 cos theta, right? This is a vector addition, simple. So if we'll substitute in this equation, it will become like this. Kinetic energy 3 half dm What is dm? It has said that is uniformly distributed, right? So dm is nothing but m upon b into dr. So if we'll substitute those all together, this will become x dot square into dm plus half theta dot square r square dm plus 2 will get cancelled. So x dot theta dot r cos theta into dm. Now I'll substitute. This we can integrate simply, right? X dot is not dependent on r. So what I can say, half m x dot chi square plus theta dot square also not dependent, so I can take it out. And what is r square is m upon b, that also can be taken out, into integral r square dr 0 to b. Here what can we take out? X dot theta dot cos theta m upon b r dr. If we'll integrate, this thing will become half m x dot ka whole square Able to follow all of you? Right? Will be the for kinetic energy for third. Now kinetic, not kinetic. Potential energy for third. So let us consider this. I have taken as a reference for potential energy. So what is this distance from here to this CG? This is the CG, that is B upon 2 from here. What will be this length? It will be B upon 2. This is theta cos theta, right? B upon 2 cos theta. So potential energy will be minus mgh. What is h? B upon 2 cos theta. What is potential energy for 2? That is rod, it will be 0. Potential energy for spring, that is system 1, half kx square. So now I'll having all kinetic energy, all potential energy, right? And if you'll add and put substitute in this equation, then we'll get the Lagrangian. So Lagrangian is half capital M x dot square plus this is the kinetic energy for 1 and kinetic energy for 3, half small m x dot square m theta dot square b square upon 6 plus mx dot b theta dot cos theta by 2 minus potential energy. So minus minus will get cancelled and it will become plus mg b by 2 cos theta minus half kx square. So if you'll try to see the options, it matches C. C is the correct option for this question. So the essence for this lecture is that, like, this particular question, it was question number 1 and it has a very long solution, and this solution is only possible when you are at the peace mind. You can do it, no problem, but with peace mind, and it will take some time, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes solution. Okay, and that much it is not worth it to give at the very first stage of your paper. Okay, so how to attempt a paper, like, suppose you encounter question like this, you leave that question, you move ahead, you solve the questions that can be solved easily in 4 to 5 lines or steps. Then again, after completing the whole paper, you revisit the questions that we have left, thinking it is difficult or it will be not possible to solve within a stipulated time of 3 minutes or 2 minutes. And then at the end, you'll be having lots of time and you can solve it very easily, and there will be no back pressure like you have to solve so many questions are still pending. That hashtag will not be there. Okay, so with that, I'm concluding this lecture. I hope I was able to convey you all the points, and all the best for your future preparations and for the result. Thank you all for watching this video. For more videos and regular updates, subscribe to this channel. Thank you all once again.